Today we are going to explain the movie The Exit 8. This film is a combination of a horror-style game, which is why it's very interesting, though a bit confusing. To understand the full story, watch the video till the end. And if you enjoy the video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Now, without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into the story explanation. So, at the beginning of the film, we see a boy named Mitaya standing at a subway station, terrified, because he felt like he was trapped in a maze. No matter how many times he moved forward from exit number 8, he would end up back at the same place again. And each time, he would see the same man walking silently past him without saying a word. Despite being scared, when Mitaya finally decided to ask the man for directions and turned around, he was shocked to find the man suddenly standing right in front of him, smiling in a creepy way, as if he had read Mitaya's mind. Frightened, Mitaya ran away without saying a word. Then he noticed a board that read Exit 0, even though the sign above said Exit 8. That felt strange to him. Once, twice, even 100 times, he searched for a way out of this place. Every path was designed in such a way that the doors were nothing more than decoration. Again and again, he kept wandering through this maze. He even tried to make an emergency call, but none of the intercoms near the exits were working, and his own phone had no signal either. Now, he gave up. He just stood there. His eyes were drawn to a picture on the wall, one that showed ants trapped in a strange loop, endlessly circling trying to find a destination, just like him. But that loop had no end, and neither did Mitaya's path. That image and thought made it clear to him he was truly stuck in a loop, and there was no way he would ever get out. As he was thinking all this, suddenly and strangely, blood started dripping from the Exit 8 board above and fell on his face. He got so terrified that instead of going forward, he started running back. And here he saw a completely shocking change. The board that earlier had Exit 0 written on it now read Exit 1. However, everything else around him looked exactly the same as before. On that same board, some hints were written. One of them was, "Observe deeply. If you see something that has changed beforehand or appears abnormal, then run backward. And if nothing seems abnormal or changed to you, then keep moving forward towards Exit 8 as before." Mitaya realizes that the red liquid dripping earlier was an abnormality. Since he ran backward in fear, he moved from 0 to Exit 1. Thinking all this, a wave of hope rises in him that he might soon be able to get out of here. He again starts heading toward Exit 8. This time, he doesn't notice any changes, so he keeps moving forward, and when he reaches the board that said Exit 0, he is shocked. Where it previously said Exit 1, it had again turned back to 0. This meant he had made a mistake somewhere. He realizes that this maze is exactly like a game. Just as one mistake in a game takes you back to the start, here too, one wrong move brought him back to 0. He understands that if he wants to get out of this maze, he must follow the rules of the game and stay alert. Thinking carefully, he takes out his phone and starts taking pictures of every little detail around him.
He starts taking photos so that later, when trying to get out again, he can notice any changes. He even takes a picture of that man who kept walking past him under the Exit 8 board again and again. So far, he hasn't noticed anything abnormal or changed, so he moves forward. And when he reaches the second exit board, he finally sees some writing on it, meaning his guess was absolutely right. Nothing had changed before, and he has successfully passed level 1. To go to level 2, he knows he has to walk through the area again and look for changes. Now, as he moves forward and takes out his phone to find differences by comparing the pictures, he sees that all the photos he took have become blurry and nothing is clear anymore. At that moment, he realizes that to win this game, his brain is his only tool he can rely on. While he's thinking this, he suddenly notices that the man who always walked past under the Exit 8 board is now standing still in one place. He immediately understands this is the change. So without wasting any time, he runs back the way he came. But the frightening part was the man started following him in such a way that it didn't even seem like he was walking, but whenever Miyata looked back, the man was right behind him. Scared, Miyata falls down. When he gets up, he sees he has reached the exit 0 board. And this time it says 2. And that man is no longer behind him, meaning he has cleared another level. After passing 2 levels, Miyata's confidence increases. With more focus, he tries to remember everything and looks for changes. As he wanders through the maze again, he suddenly hears the sound of a child crying from a locker. Scared, he opens the locker, but whatever he sees inside terrifies him so much that he runs back immediately, though we are not shown what was inside. In this way, he also clears the 3rd level. Now the exit 0 board reads 3. He thinks only 5 levels are left. Then he will reach the corridor and finally escape from this nightmare. He goes toward exit 8 again and starts observing everything very carefully. This time, he feels as if someone is watching him while he's walking through the corridor. He looks at the pictures on the walls and notices that the people in the paintings seem to be turning their eyes and staring directly at him. He realizes this strange experience and immediately runs back again. Finally, the exit 0 board changes to exit 4. This means he has cleared 4 levels. He feels very happy. He thinks he has won half the game. But at the same time, his fear increases because he knows even a small mistake could send him back to 0. Again, he starts wandering towards exit 8. While passing through the corridor, suddenly his phone rings. He sees it's his girlfriend calling. Miyata feels strange about this because just a few days ago they had decided to part ways.
He receives the call, and that's when he finds out he's going to be a father. The girl leaves the decision entirely up to Miyata. If he wants to have the child, she's willing to come back into his life. Hearing this, Miyata's heart becomes strangely heavy. He remembers an incident from a few days ago when he was on a train and a baby was crying. A man was scolding the baby and the mother. Miyata had wanted to defend them, to say something, but he didn't have the courage back then. Now, just the thought of taking full responsibility for a child puts him in a dilemma. He becomes completely confused. At that moment, he ends the call, and as soon as he hangs up, he sees that the exit board, which had changed to 4, has now gone back to 0. He had made a huge mistake. He knew there's no signal in this maze, and the fact that his girlfriend's call came through was actually the biggest change in the game. But he failed to notice it and didn't return to the exit board. And he was also trapped there trying to escape. While Miyata had already crossed half the levels, he was now back to 0. He would have to start the entire game all over again. In this situation, Miyata became so hopeless that he started crying out loud in frustration. He wanted to escape this maze, but now he had no motivation left inside him. Dragging his nearly lifeless feet, he moved forward, but this time nothing seemed different. After turning a corner in the corridor, he saw a child and immediately ran toward the back exit board. But when he got there, he saw that the exit board still showed 0. This meant the child wasn't a change either. Then he realized that the child, like Miyata, was also trapped in this maze and trying to get out. At that moment, he also saw that man, the one who always walked past him in a suit. Then Miyata understood that this man too was a victim of the maze. Just like him and the child, someone stuck in it trying to escape. It is shown that the suited man and the child once worked together as a team. Both of them were trying to find a way out of the maze. They kept seeing a girl who, unlike them, made no effort to escape this place. At one point, the man asked the girl, "Why do you want to stay here? Why aren't you trying to get out?" The girl replied, "Every day I get hit by the train, go to work, live a very hard life. I don't think it's worth going back to that tough life again. I feel pretty relaxed inside this maze." As the girl spoke, her voice slowly started to change.
She began to repeat the same thing she had said once before. Her voice changed and eventually became heavy like a man's. That's when the man realized that this girl was actually one of the maze's abnormalities, an error or a trap. He immediately grabbed the child and ran toward the back exit board. The board now showed 6, meaning they had reached the very final stage of the game.
They were very close to freedom, roaming the entire maze looking for any changes. The girl was seen again, but this time she didn't speak. Meanwhile, the little boy noticed that the door handles were strangely placed. He tried to point this out to the suited man, but the man ignored the boy and kept moving forward. This small mistake, this slight neglect, caused him to lose the entire game. His exit board started showing 0 again, meaning he had lost the game once more. He would have to start all over again. The man broke down mentally and screamed out loud. But escaping this place was very important to him, so he steeled himself and decided to play the game again. Holding the boy's hand, he started walking through the maze once more. Surprisingly, this time he noticed a staircase going upwards. He became very happy and wanted to know what happened next. So he tried to go upstairs, but the child was trying to explain to him that this is a game, an abnormality. According to the rules, they had to go back the way they came. But the wealthy man didn't listen to the child and went upstairs via the stairs. And because of this, he remained trapped in the maze. When the child went to the exit board, he saw that instead of 0, it now showed 1, meaning the child was right. Those stairs were an abnormality. There was no way out. Now the child also realized that the wealthy man was trapped forever inside those stairs. The story then returns to Miyata, where he had seen that child. Miyata realized that the child and the man were once part of the same team. So when he saw the child alone, he understood that the wealthy man had now abandoned the child. This made Miyata feel very uneasy. Now the child becomes Miyata's companion, and Miyata quickly realizes that this child has a very high IQ. In other words, the child is very intelligent and can easily notice even the smallest changes. Using their intelligence, they quickly pass the first and then the second level. And when they were wandering inside the maze to clear the third level, suddenly the lights in the maze start flickering, turning on and off. Along with the sound of children crying, strange noises of rats can be heard. Miyata turns on the flashlight on his phone and sees that the man is standing very strangely. Miyata gets scared and immediately grabs the child's hand and runs backwards. They realize that they have passed another level. All these things, which scared them, were actually a test for them. They start wandering the maze again for the next round, and then a woman appears in front of them. Miyata understands that this woman is also an abnormality and that they need to go back. But the child starts crying and moves toward the woman. The child becomes very emotional, so Miyata picks him up and runs backwards.
This way, they passed another level. Even after winning half the game, Miyata felt no joy because he became worried about the child who was separated from his mother. He felt compassion for the child, held his hand tightly, and vowed to reunite the child with his mother. Next time, while wandering inside the maze, something surprising happened. There was no visible change anywhere, but the child noticed that the 8 on the exit 8 board above was written backwards. Such a small change, easily overlooked, was caught by the child's intelligence. Immediately, they turned back, and in this way, they also cleared level 6. Now only 2 levels remained. Miyata knew that after this, he would be free from the maze and return to his own world. But somehow, his inner feelings were very strange. As he started to walk the maze again, suddenly a stream of water came rushing from behind. Miyata quickly tried to take the child back, but the child fell and was swept away by the water. Miyata could no longer move forward. He dived into the water to save the child. As soon as Miyata entered the water, his world seemed to change. He had a strange vision and saw himself in the middle. His companion, the child who was with him in the maze, was shown as part of his family, like his own son. He spent joyful moments with the child and realized that becoming a father was not a burden, but an extraordinary feeling and a beautiful relationship. But before he could fully grasp this, he felt intense pain in his body and returned to reality. Miyata and the child were still trapped in the water. Miyata gathered all his strength, picked up the child, and tried to get out of the water. He hung the child above the exit 8 board and was swept away by the water current himself. The scene cuts, and after some time, the child wakes up to find himself in a ruined place. He looks back and surprisingly still remembers all the paths and rules. As he turns back, the exit board shows 7, meaning they've crossed yet another level. The child knows only the final level remains to be cleared, but now Miyata is not with him. Meanwhile, Miyata has finally reached the ultimate level, level 8. He is stunned, but not happy. He cannot tell if this is a victory or a trap. Ahead, a staircase is clearly visible, and people are walking on it. He is conflicted, whether to go back or move forward. Confused, he steps forward and calls his friend on the phone. This time, there is a signal, meaning he's back in the real world. When his friend answers, Miyata says, "I have won. I am ready to take on this responsibility." Miyata realized that he was ready to become a father. Miyata then went inside the metro. But strangely, everything inside the metro seemed to him as if he had seen it before. After a while, a child started crying, and a man began to scold the child and his mother. It was the same scene we had seen in Miyata's thoughts at the beginning of the movie. Miyata looked around at the people. They were all strange. Everyone was busy with their phones, and Miyata's heart broke. He realized that this time too, he had fallen into the game's trap. Although he had passed number 6, he couldn't clear number 7, and it was all a trap. He was stuck in the same loop again, the one he had wanted to escape. And the story ends here, with the mystery of whether Miyata truly found freedom or if he remained trapped inside the same table. This was the explanation video of the movie The Exit 8. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and share it. And to watch more such interesting videos, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so that my videos reach you on time.